Welcome to Vine. We are back for a special Divine Masculine reading because the one of yesterday is gone. That's okay because guess what comes out in this reading? The moon. And I also have the Page of Wands that came out. I said a quick impactful spread, so that lets me know we're still in alignment with the Divine Feminine. Welcome new subscribers to Golden Mission 144. You're seeing what this is about. If you need any additional support, it's in the description. Meet with me or meet with someone who can support you. Look, I feel the moment to actually say to you guys, congratulations on that alignment within. You are noticing that you're able to stay steady and get reflections about things in ways you could not sit in and see before. You're able to sit in and see. Sit in and see. What are you seeing? You're seeing your life. You're seeing those around you. You're becoming a scientist of your own life. You know, so you're able to see your moves and the moves of those which are aligned with you. That's a power play, hey? We are starting out here with this special full moon divine masculine reading with the Page of Wands in reverse. Now, the Page of Wands in reverse isn't too bad to have here, but it's not like the favorable testimony of the Page of Wands upright. In reverse, okay, it is that evil or bad news, but it's not that bad because it's starting out in the beginning, so I know it's getting ready to tell us something that is beneficial on the end of the divine masculine energy, or something that or will lead us to something, you know. So we're going to go right on into this. So we have the Ace of Pentacles coming, and that is being handed. Handed what? That's that contentment. That's that felicity, that happiness. So, okay. So while we go evil, bad news, and then we go right into this placement. So this is kind of bad news about that contentment that the divine masculine energy would have, but we come in with the Three of Pentacles. So this is a whole message. This is a whole three-part message, because with this Three of Pentacles, you got to understand that this comes in with that, this is a sculptor working in a masonry. You know, he is actually not a masonry, a monastery. This is a sculptor actually working in a monastery. And that's like really being at that skilled work. But, you know, and you see the viewing of that mason working in that monastery. And I still keep putting that in there. So we'll leave it. So working in that monastery, coming through, and it's just like, okay, so now I know exactly what's going on full throttle with the divine masculine energy. With these three-part cards, we're going to go right in. So what seems to be very, very clear is that the divine masculine energy is receiving bad news about being able to go back to things as usual. See, this is that usual, you know, as usual, you know, you're getting that contentment and that happiness from the original placing. The divine masculine energy is recognizing that they can't necessarily go back to the way things used to be. They want it to go back to the way things used to be is what I'm getting, but they are recognizing that it's not going to work. It's not going to work. See, it did used to be favorable testimony when it came to what they were getting their happiness from and how they were building from that, what they were working on, whether it be relationship, whether it be how they're getting their money, whether it be how they surround themselves with people. And the biggest thing is how they deal with things. The divine masculine energy is recognizing that they cannot go back to how they dealt with things previously. one of the biggest things about the readings that we've had for the past month that have led up into the full moon energy, which means that all of those are live and we have a combustion of that right now, is that the divine masculine energy was going heavy into that emotional center. So being in that emotional center, that's real change. That's real change. So that's that internal change. So the divine masculine is recognizing, shoot, that crap was permanent. I couldn't just dabble in it, you know? I couldn't just dabble in it just a little bit out of curiosity. Almost like, and I'm going to tell you what's coming to me in the depiction is just kind of the typical of the masses that we have out there, because with the divine feminine energy tapping into many of the spiritual ways first. What I'm getting is that the divine masculine energy was curious about the intuitive nature of the divine feminine energy, curious about how the divine feminine energy thought, moved. It's like, I've never seen anybody think like this, move like this, act like this. Who are you, you know? So the divine masculine energy, I'm getting almost curious about divine feminine energy. But then not only that, I'm getting about knowing new information. So it's like, okay, I've learned this new information about this. I've learned this new information about that. And they were just kind of dibbling, dabbling is what I'm getting coming with the divine masculine energy. And then what they recognized was the dibble and dabble is real. And they know it's real because they tried to go back to the scheduled program. I'm getting interacting with people who do not hold those components of the DF energy that was introduced in that highly intuitive nature. And then I'm also getting spending time with other divine masculines, spending time with others who hold divine masculine energy, and ways about them. Learning how to have that communication style of openness. And I'm getting a lot of words. I'm getting in connection with a masculine who had balanced their feminine energy. And then also in connection with a divine feminine energy, dominant, that this masculine had gotten used to expression. They had gotten used to feeling. They had gotten used to knowing what was going on with someone internally. So that's heavy that's coming out now. So it's almost like when they tried to go back to these usual ways of getting their contentment and their happiness that they would get according to this Ace of Pentacles, what they were actually working on and building on, I'm getting previous relationships that they had, previous ways of getting money. I'm getting that they were reading and learning about creative things, and they're like, shoot, I don't want to go back into that old style of like bondage with things or doing things that old way. Everything that they were previously building on that gave them that contentment and that happiness, previous relationships, previous places that they used to go to, previous ways that they used to communicate with people. They're like, I am so bored. What I'm getting is a picture of text messaging. So the text messaging that I'm getting is like 1 or 2, 3 words, 1 or 2, 3 words. And it's like, figure out what's going on inside of me, and whether or not you get it or not, you know, hey, I'm getting being around people who are very closed up and shelled in that fearful nature. They don't have that openness and that freeness to just kind of try new things and align with the experience. That I'm getting that they're beside them and they're like, I'm bored. I'm getting loud. It's like, I'm bored. And they're not understanding why they also can't get them to do a new thing. And it's like, well, let's do a new thing, or let's be open and communicate. They didn't realize how emotionally open in communication that they had became. So they're really getting annoyed with what they had been building and developing within their lives, because it no longer brings them that felicity. It no longer brings them that contentment. And that's the kind of evil news that they kind of have. It's like, shoot, you know, what on earth? And the reason why it comes out in that placement to them is that they look at it like it's an opposing. But in reality, what I'm getting is that it's not. And that's why they're looking at it almost like that news. And some of you guys may have experienced some resistance from your divine masculines and divine masculines. You might have acted in strong resistance to a divine feminine for those of you guys who are in relationship. And the reason that I'm getting that is that the reason why it's coming up like it's coming up, that the divine masculine energy was looking at it like that bad evil news, is because they look at it like, okay, because of you, none of this is good anymore. Because of you, none of this is good anymore. But that's not necessarily the case, and that seems to be what is being illuminated right now in the full moon that we go in with the angel and ancestor cards. Because what seems to be happening is that they're having to take note to intuitive messaging that it wasn't the divine feminine or the divine masculine or the information that they took in that was bad or evil. It is the perception that they have. In fact, they're starting to recognize that it was intuitive messaging coming from them. That it wasn't them. It was what was coming from them. There's that music. So we hit it. So that lets us know that the divine masculine energy is starting to recognize on a higher level, like, dang, I might have judged divine feminine wrong. I might have judged this new experience wrong. I might have judged this style of doing things wrong. We're going to check out the extended message for the moon card in these new cards with the angels and ancestors. Lunar energies are surrounding your life, allowing you to understand what is standing in your way. Not everything is as it seems, and you're being guided to use your discernment. When the moon appears, intuitive or psychic urges are increased. So take note. It's our crystal ball in the sky. Take note of any feelings arising at this time. They are messages from your soul and angels. The moon shines her light on all that has been kept in the dark. So ask yourself if you are avoiding anything or refusing to deal with something of importance. If so, it could be holding you in the shadows when your destiny is to be in the light. If this card appears when you feel someone isn't being completely real with you, know that their intentions will be revealed to you. The moon has no secrets. She reveals all. Use your intuition. Practice discernment. See through illusions and blockages. Yeah. So this is really good, because this is what the divine masculine energy is being called to now see, that's being illuminated. It's like, dang, it's not what I thought it was. It's not what I thought it was. I thought it was one thing, but it's something else. I thought it was her. I thought it was him. I thought it was them. I thought it was that. I thought it was that thing or that information or that, you know, what I took in or watched or read or touched or had something to do with. I thought that was all bad, even down to these tarot cards. It's so interesting. I received a message from someone yesterday right before I was getting ready to go and reply, and it was like, tarot is a game. And I was like, well, you know, I'm thinking to myself, well, that is definitely one way to look at it. But anything that is a physical element, of course, this is made out of paper, but anything as a physical element can be used to work together for your good, in which you can receive divine message and guidance from. So that comes to me very strongly with this right now, that the divine masculine energy is starting to recognize that, because what do we get next? We get Father Sky. Trust in the unknown. Trust in the unknown. So the divine masculine energy is so used to them making things happen for themselves, them knowing everything that's going on, them having the dominance, them having the control, them handling things, them thinking that they know, that not only were they in the dark about the realities of this system of things, but they were also in the dark about many of the people that were around them, and whether or not they met them on a level that worked for them in life. And they did not notice the difference. They didn't notice the difference like they notice the difference now. So let's see what is going on with Father Sky. Trust that your path is unfolding exactly as it needs to. You have a personal relationship with the Great Father. Know that He is lovingly leading you forward. You are a co-creator of your life, and every thought, feeling, intention, and emotion you have is creating the road ahead. With that being said, you don't need to know every single detail of what is going to unfold before you. When this card appears, you are being guided to step back and get out of your own way, because there is a greater power that is not only around you, but within you. And Father Sky is creating the best experience imaginable for you. Accepting this will allow miraculous energy to come into your life. So see things from a higher perspective, like the eagle on the card. This card can also appear when there are opportunities to improve the father connection in your life. If your father figure is in heaven, know that his spirit is drawing close. If he is on earth, there's an opportunity to heal something, whether past or present. This is important because this is allowing the divine masculine energy to broaden their mind, see things from a higher perspective. The divine masculine energy I'm getting had a very lower and closed view about certain things. And now they're at the point where they're like, man, things cannot go back to being the same. Even though I opened up my emotional center, even though I went in and I was open to the experiences of new persons, new things, new information, I thought it was a game, kind of like that message that I received. I thought it was a game, and I thought I was going to end the game and go on back to my old life. What the divine masculine energy is recognizing is that when they went back to their old life is almost seeming like the joke. It doesn't provide the fulfillment. It doesn't provide the mental stimulation, the spiritual fulfillment. And I'm also even getting it even doesn't even provide the physical satisfactions that the divine masculine energy is needing. That old way no longer serves them. It doesn't serve them in any of the ways that they are now requiring. Because when you feed on new knowledge, whether it's coming to you from a person, and I'm getting whether it's coming from that person that the divine masculine energy was aligned to, whether it's coming from what they were listening to, involved with, quote, playing with, either way, you've taken in and fed on that information. So when it goes through your portal, it then becomes a part of who you are. And that's what the divine masculine energy is starting to recognize, that even though they shut the door to what they thought was bringing it in, that it's still there and they're still longing for it. And this has been highlighted heavy within the full moon energy with the collection of the past month's readings to check those out if you're wondering what is settling in with the masculine energy. And they're being encouraged to trust the unknown. And see, the eagles fly alone. And that's something that the divine masculine energy is starting to recognize. If my old world no longer fits, then that means I'm having to step out in a different way that I haven't had to step out before. And this seems alone because there's less on this side, more on this side. Less on this side, more on this side. But they're starting to recognize that that is a physical view. That there's actually more in numbers, more in availability and always awareness and knowing on that side. But on this side has the power and the fulfillment. And even though it looks less physically, it is so much more. That is a beautiful reading for the divine masculine energy. They are definitely seeing things from a new way. The golden mission. The golden mission is union. Union within and union with others. Effortlessly afterwards.